Hello, Antoinette here from Antoinette Intuitive. I'm just going to do my monthly wrap-ups. It's nearly the end of the month, a couple of days to go. Monday we'll be starting into my tarot journal for the month of August, so it gives me the opportunity to be early and on time for a change. Et voila! I'm going to start with my daily practice. For those who aren't aware, it is the one that I keep in my Flickering Cauldron Moon Diary 2023. The next one, I haven't had any further updates. I know I gave a little update on this last month, but I'm still waiting for the actual release. So for people wanting to know, go straight over to the flickeringcauldron.com, or is it .co.uk? I'll try and pop the link down below, and get yourself signed up onto their email list, and then that's where you get the alerts and news from. And if you're not in the UK, then you can purchase this diary direct from their Etsy shop once it's released, or pre-orders. You can put yourself on the pre-order list once it's been announced that it's out for purchase. So keep your eyes peeled. Cancer. So we are into July, and of course we enter July in the month of Cancer, in the astrological sign of Cancer, and then we move into Leo, as many of you are aware, because we are now currently into Leo season. And as you can see, I have a few there that I haven't completed, and I've been feeling relatively comfortable when that's happened, to be honest, this year. I'm not feeling quite so pressured to complete, go back retrospectively. I mean, some days I have pulled a card and I just haven't put it down at all, and I can't even remember what it was because I wrote nothing about it. So it's nice to have that liberation from feeling the need to write everything down and put it there. But equally, that inner perfectionist, you know who you are, comes out, and that it's like having minus on your scorecard or something. But that's another story, isn't it? So July is the month we have the herb of hyssop. So I do believe I don't own any such hyssop in my garden, or anything that looked remotely like this in my garden. So therefore I haven't really worried about it. And as I've said, naturally in my garden this time of year, it's basically mint, rosemary, lavender, raspberries, blackberries, and the apples and pears that are growing magnificently on the trees. In fact, I was just looking today, and there might be a couple of pears that I can actually pick and bring in to ripen. So that's amazing. Thanks to the rainfall that we've had lately, they've grown. I don't think I've ever picked a pear this early before. So yeah, interesting. So we didn't get to touch the hyssop. We have the Cancer dragon. Name of our dragon for Cancer is Shisha, and born between 22nd of July and 22nd of June to 22nd of July. Falls in the 4th house of the Cancerian dragons, perceptive, observant, with great intuition. A Cancer dragon would rather put down roots than live for a career. So it's got all those homely aspects of the 4th house kind of coming through there, and there's more information on there as well about the 4th house. The mystical stone, so they're giving us the mystical stone of ruby. So we have modern is ruby, star sign is ruby, traditional would be ruby, mystical is ruby, planetary stone, moonstone, talismanic stone, sapphire. And then we have the moonstone for the healing dragon. So moonstone and pearl I usually associate with the month of June and not specifically the astro sign of Cancer. So that sort of makes sense that moonstones come through. And then my daily practice, I'm using Tower of the Holy Light for this, and this one's involving reading. So this is perhaps why some of my cards and things didn't get written down completely. I did have a little period where I was rocky roads again, wasn't completely 100% pain in the bottom. So on a couple of days we've got more than one card, and my moons, so writing down the moon phase using the Stacey DeMarco Queen of the Moon Oracle, I've continued to write them in, and the card, so card number 5 relating to waxing gibbous is focus. So that's what the numbers are that you see in there. So I've continued to try and write them in where I can. We went through the but full moon, and continue with my practice here. So what do we have? This is interesting. I haven't actually put much here. So on Wednesday the 12th, looks like we've had 3 cards come out. So the Magician, 3 of Pentacles, and the Emperor. So I've wrote juggling the day, collaboration and teamwork is going to be needed. And then with regards to the Emperor, so that kind of control element of what's going on, I've put didn't make it. Must have been hormonal. Or did it make it? You know, did my hormones actually rule the day? So I just thought that was amusing that I've done one reflection in here. We have the new moon stones. And then that brings us straight to where we are now. It feels like it's been a really quick month, doesn't it, all in all? So haven't done today. And today's moon is Will for the Waxing Gibbous, card 4. And I didn't write up my Queen of Wands and Magician over there for the 24th. I ran out of time, basically. I was running late in the morning, put my cards out, took notice of them, but never got around to reading. And I'll show you why in a minute. And then we have Mondays will be the Waxing Gibbous moon, and it should be Action. And the tarot card for July is the Star. So we have a bit of information about the Star card there. And then my new moon wishes, things that I needed to complete. Yes, I've done that. That I've got here. So we've got some house renovations and things that I'm still carrying over from started a few months ago. So just my lists and things as we go and what we're up to. Decks. So I've got a couple more decks that are on pre-order, including the Gustave Doré non-traditional tarot. By the way, it's an extra. Just pop that down there. That's on Kickstarter. Non-trad tarot. So it's Gustave Doré. The deck was already on my list to look out because I really quite like some of the images. I don't know how it's going to work as a reader, but I just enjoyed the imagery on it. And then it's come out as a Kickstarter, and the person that's put it on Kickstarter has cleaned up the images. They're not so dark, they're a bit sharper, and they've manipulated the images or photo collaged parts of the image if you want. So where a picture might be fullscape and the images, so for the moon, I think is one of them. Pretend this is my picture. The moon is up here. I've got some cliffs and pillars here, and then I've got like a person here and a person here. What they've done is they've brought the moon down to here. They've adjusted the light that might be expected from the moonshine between the pillars, and they've brought the 2 people in here, and then they've zoomed in and cropped the card. So from those aspects, I quite like what they've done with it. However, I don't like it's got very big red scrawly writing across the bottoms, which really to me just drags your eye away from the beauty of the card. I would like to see the writing in something a bit smaller, maybe white outline and black writing, or red eye, just smaller, perhaps just smaller. Maybe that's all I need. But yeah, go over to Kickstarter, have a look, see if you want to support that deck. It's a beautiful deck. She's done well with what she's done. But yeah, so obviously if it was that bad, I wouldn't have backed it. Yeah, so you can see there's some decks there. The Archaeological Oracle arrived. What else have we got here? There's decks on there that I haven't even written down that I bought. There's a few random purchases as well. And then we're into August, right. Tarot journal. Well, actually, what I was going to do before I go on, you often see me have a piece of paper folded up in my journal, and this is it here. So I thought if I just hold, if you want to pause, you can take a look at this. This is just my tracker. It's the same one printed out month on month. I write the date, the month up here, the year, and then I've left some gaps that you see for things. But these are things that I like to track. Now, those of you that want to track things, you can change up whatever you don't want, you know. So I might cross stuff out and I'll write something else in there if these no longer pertain to me. Because obviously when I wrote this back in December last year, I was having issues with certain things, so I wrote this to track different things. and some of them I don't need to track anymore. So simple things like if I have a trapped shoulder, I'm not always suffering with a trapped shoulder anymore. So what else might I choose to turn that into? And then with the notes here, so if you have like a run of something, say a run of dry eyes, you could put into notes there what product you've used to help alleviate the dry eyes, or if you found it was because of a certain being in an environment. Was it the aircon? Was it a pollen issue, an allergy issue, or was it simply you're developing dry eyes? I suppose maybe you're naturally developing a dry eye issue. So it's just a few things there. And then I have some bits and bobs that I do for my health personally, but there'll be things that you'll do. So again, insert your own types of medicines and things that you take. How much, if you want to track your exercise, I like to track some of the foods and things that I eat. Now I've done like a kind of food list, but in a generalized format of the foods that I eat. They'll sort of come into this category for breakfast, lunch, dinner, evening tea, snacks. So I've kind of done it there, but I would know what so sandwich, I know what that means when I say sandwich. Sandwich doesn't mean white bread roll or white crusty roll. Sandwich will always mean the thinnest piece of brown bread that I can find, no butter, filled with lettuce, filled with ham, filled with non-dairy foods, but stuffed. So that's what a sandwich would mean to me. So I already know what type of products are going to be in that food. So it's kind of that makes sense to me when I'm ticking those things rather than having like a whole list of what I'm eating. And then there are things I obviously drink and follow as well. Lattes, I sometimes I'll put a C if it's a cafe latte, and I'll put an M if it's a matcha latte. And then I can put that across as well when I'm tracking, just so you know what's going on. I do like to track my hours of sleep. So if it's so the quality of sleep is coloured in. So a solid colour to a lines, rough lines. So solid is good, lines is not brilliant. Hours of sleep, I like to know how many hours of sleep I average and how that affects my energy for the next day, and then how that affects my eating habits, naturally my moods, and the sleep that I need the next night. YouTube, so I do track my kind of social media stuff here. That's literally, if I post somewhere, then I'll tick it. It's not for how much time I spend on social media, because that would need a whole new page. And then I do, stuff that I do in my work there. So I know what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis in work, and again, how that relates to my energy, my food, my mood, my sleep. And I just run the numbers up top because my printer couldn't stretch that far. So I handwrite those on. So for those of you who like to track and keep things, I hope that helps. Into my tarot journal, my main tarot journal. Oops. Oh no, is that right? Nope. Where am I? Month of July. Must be here. Okay. And again, I've not been brilliant in this one this month. I've seen it waning off last month, and this month I can say not brilliant. And I'm expecting August to be equally as bad for journaling activities. So you will know that I drew this ahead of time, so that's why we have a nice elaborate page. And my word of the month is brilliance from my year ahead spread decks that I've got here. And for the month of July, the three cards that we had, I had Star, Clearinghouse and Earth. So a renewed sense of encouragement, hope comes with new beginnings, small wins are ahead. What are your dreams? As in, what are my dreams for the future? Clearinghouse, we have let go of emotional baggage, shoulda, woulda, couldas, no good, do not have a place in here and now, get rid of them. The universe is listening to you, so be how you wish to be seen. Another reminder. And then we have Earth, tune into Earth's vibration to harness your health, guidance, intuition, spirituality. Time to find your quiet space in the garden. Take time and breathe. And then we have some of the decks here, and I think there was others chucked in as well that I maybe have missed out. So you will note, however, there's no Moon Spreads deck. Didn't do any. And here we also have a fail. So the Decans. half filled in. I haven't got around. I haven't had time to lay the decks out, lay the cards out and do this. So that is on my to-do list, and that'll all be done in one day because that won't take long, because I can just simply put them down, get my keywords out, my herbs, because that's what's about, my keywords, and just seeing them, take my pictures and drop them into my digital journal. So thankfully that can be done. That's not a problem. And then my weekly reflections. So going into the first week of July, stickers collage. I did draw onto that one just to kind of make things stand out a bit, but this is all stickers collaged on top of each other. That's a couple of layers, 1, 2, 3 layered with some collage. So yeah, no drawing, no doodling. We have, so for this week, what I did was current situation, the obstacle of the week, and the advice to overcome the obstacle and the current situation. And then for my brilliance, I've put radiance, achievement, and blinding, as in blinding performance. And my card was vulnerability, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. So I am comfortable with being vulnerable is the affirmation. And that was the Earth Angels Oracle that I was using there. And my pulls was from the Tarot of the 78 Doors. And then for my reflections, embrace this, accept this, and let go of this is how I chose to do my reflections for that week. Little Zen Crone. So Jilly, Little Zen Crone did a live called It's Coffee Time with Jilly. And this was a spread that she did. So we had a card of the month, positive influence, challenge that's causing negative feelings, focus on this, let go of this, messages from Spirit, messages from Spirit Oracle deck. Did I use 3 different Oracle decks by any chance? Deck 1, message from Spirit Oracle, maybe that might be deck 2. And a mantra to keep in mind, simplicity. So that's another one, deck 3. I may have actually used 3 oracles. So 4 decks in total. Yeah, okay, it's up there. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 decks for that spread. So that was quite nice to get them all out and play with them. And I did doodle on that one. From Richie at Longmans Tarot on Facebook, he did the Holly Tree spread for protection. So we can see here that we have the Mighty Holly King. Your arrival marks the start of the shortening of days and the darker half of the year. Give me protection from winter storms and give me the direction through the next 6 months. Blessed be. And then we have 6 cards, message from Holly. And I also threw in a Earth Angels card at the bottom, which came out as transcendent. So my spread was here. So how can I best ground myself? How can I restore direction in my life? Where do I need to protect myself? How can I best protect myself? Where do I need to spread goodwill? And message from Holly. All here, and this is all using the Wildwood Tarot. And my kind of overall message here is using, physical touch. Remember to be patient in the here and now. So by grounding yourself, basically, is what I'm talking about there, okay? And also with a note of remaining present will allow the universe connection to the law of attraction. So that, law of attraction, give out, come in, sort of karmic kind of flow, which I think has been a theme, to be fair. And then my oracle card that I put down with that is transcendent. I feel the sweet healing energy of the celestial powers radiating through my mind, body, and spirit, bringing unconditional joy. And we have week 2. So here we have need to embrace, need to accept, and need to let go of. Changed it up a bit with my 3 placements. And here I've wrote brilliance, do your best, give 100% to the tasks, and be a winner inside and out. So a little go-getter cheer for myself there. And I do believe I've used the Witch's Oracle here. And 3 cards came out. So we have the Cauldron, Mermaid, and Mystic Lady there. And then we've got reflections. So reflections have the overall energy of the week coming out of it. So what was the overall energy of the week that we have just had? How has it affected me? And then how can I grow from this in a positive way? Which was a cool card to get. So I've got the Fool. Tomorrow is another day. Turn the page. Go forth with joy. Now then, what do we do? So Amethyst Ascensions did the 3 of Cups spread, Friends. So I've done that one, and I've popped that in here, and I used Tarot de Luz and the Abandoned Oracle to do that one, which is an unusual set of decks. But yeah, so I pulled my cards, so they're all here, and then I've kind of wrote my genuine sort of reflections there. And I left this spare for another spread, but as you see, it never went in, didn't get there. 3rd week of July. So what's up this week? Where do I want to invest myself, and what do I need to ignore? And then brilliance with no reflections there. So I have done a doodle rather than the previous sort of collages. Although I think they're quite pretty, but they're a bit muted. And my reflections was just a 3-card intuitive pull and then reading it as I felt I wanted to read it. And I can tell you instantly that I used the Zammer twins on this one. So my Zammer twins Oracle deck arrived. I have done a walkthrough of that because it's called Mercurius. So I can tell just by the name of the card what I've used here. And then we have the Decans of Leo. So the first Decan, and this one actually is on the wrong page. This one needs to go into August, but it doesn't matter. I'll pop it in July. So this will be the second Decan. And they'll be done at the same time that I do the other 2 for the Cancer. I'll just all 4 get bashed out, no problem. And then we are here. We are into the week ahead, the last week of July that we've just had, ending, for me, the working week ending yesterday, Friday the 28th. So we did embrace, accept and let go. So I kept the same theme of the week before. Brilliance comes in many guises. Don't dismiss ideas and suggestions. They just might be what's needed. Actually, that's quite relevant. And then the Oracle says, so what have I used? Oracle of the Rose, I've written specifically there for a reason. So we had Balancing Act came out. So changed my Oracle decks, it looks like, throughout the month for my spreads. And then my reflections I haven't done yet. So I'm going to do opportunities, challenges and outcome to see what's gone on. And that is it. That is the end of July. We are there. So let's come back and look at how these decks laid and went. So I've got lots here. So if we just start with the Tarot of the Holy Light, I've been working with the book all month. I've said before, you don't need the deck to read the book because the book has so much kind of information about the Hermetic images that you can get like a really cool understanding of the imagery if you don't want to read with the deck. And this is the deck. Now, I've said previously with the borders on this, it can be drawn on, and it has been. So I've had to read the book because the meanings are slightly nuanced in the book. And then I've been writing some of the words onto the cards because I originally was just writing the words out of the book and then realised I was missing the words I already knew and related to that meaning of that card without the imagery. And it was kind of tripping me up. So I started to add words that I also am more familiar with. So here we have Ten of Wands, quest being one of the words, which I would never have related to the Ten of Wands. Giving your all, life force and lost cause. So they are all from the book, but 10 to me would be an ending, completion. So I found it interesting that we're calling it quest or lost cause. 7 of Swords, I've got plenty written on 7 of Swords. There were some interesting concepts with this as well, including planning, being organised, anticipation. I liked the word preparedness and exploiting options for this 7 of Swords because we always see that people generally do it as stealing, don't they? So I liked this, exploiting options and preparedness. 8 of Wands, so we have momentum, development, obstacles and barriers, of course linked to the numerology of the card, but action, momentum, I like that. So I haven't obviously written on every card, it was only going through and doing the ones that I've had come out throughout the working month. Beginning order, observant, skill set for Page of Discs. So, and there was, I think 5 cards that I forgot to write down or write on. I've listed them to come back and do basically. So 3 of Wands, we have confidence, leadership, teamwork and achievement. And you can see here on the Page of Wands, kind of had a mistake with two of the words. I'm not sure what I wrote, but I decided to change them. And I used nail polish remover to try and clean off this pen, because I'm using a laundry pen, permanent laundry pen, to write on these. Not the best idea, I'm sure, but that's what I've chosen to use because I've noticed that Sharpies and things sometimes scratch and come off. So I thought I'd do use laundry pen because I'm extra. And then we have the Hermit. But it's okay, it hasn't warped the card or anything, it's just smudged. So if you're wondering what to write on your cards with, if you have white borders, but you need to get it right first time. So you can see there's quite a bit of writing just kind of scrawled in onto the bottoms of the white borders. I mean, what else are the borders for, really? So I recommend that you write what you like onto them. So moving into my weeklies, we have the Earth Angels Oracle. And this one has the meaning on the back and the affirmation, which is what I really like about these. They're a nice small deck. They're a nice kind of poker size, playing card size deck. And I think Amanda Clarke is the artist on this one. And the images are just gorgeous. I think I've had this for a year maybe now. Probably about this time last year that I purchased it. And I quite enjoy using it. And it's yeah, just a really nice deck. There's lots of cards in it as well. It's not like a 35 card deck. I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe 60, possibly more. And there is, I think I've done a walkthrough of this one as well on my channel. If you're interested, you can just pop into my Oracle flip throughs. It should hopefully be, if I've labelled it correctly, in there. So there we have Amanda Clarke's deck. Then I've been using this one from Total Tarot. So it is the Tarot of the 78 Doors. These are the backs. And this is the one that I've been using as my 3-card spread. So let's just get us into 3 cards. They're all slightly pastel-y in look. And then this one being my final. Just so you get to see. So this would be my current situation. Stand it up a little bit. Oops, so you can see. So we have current situation, which stands out a bit. We have the obstacle, the advice, and Oracle's last say on what's going on. So the situation being the devil here, so manipulation, control, leadership, being coerced into things, perhaps. The obstacle would be wanting to have, it could even be wanting stability, wanting to have that family connection, that time with people, linking to others, not being alone, closing the door, wanting to, just some downtime away from the outside world. But not being able to get there. And then the advice is 2 of Cups, so sharing, creating magic with each other, creating relationships, maybe even gifting something to somebody, perhaps whoever it is over here that's causing the issues, maybe they're the person that needs a gift to sweeten them up. So, being aware of what's going on. Page of Pentacles as a current situation. So that sort of knowing, learning, stepping forwards, heading out on something new, honing that new task, skill, finance. I mean, he's got gold rings there, so 2 gold rings kind of intertwined. So he's definitely looking to join something together, isn't he? So he is possibly wanting to join, if we're talking about, because it'd be from a work situation, so to join forces with somebody. The obstacle is going to be the Page of Wands, because the Page of Wands is, somebody that's a little bit less able to control. They're a bit more free-willed, free-spirited, rock up whenever they want. They've got their own thoughts on things, their own ideas about stuff, and can quite often, show up with a big fancy gift and, make your thoughts look less than the intention behind it. And then we have the advice there for 6 of Cups. So we're back to the sharing, gifting element of this, give and take, making sure it's equal and not just a one-way thing, because obviously somebody giving out gifts, or in this case that could be work, somebody just giving out workload isn't always going to be well reciprocated. And then we have freedom. So the affirmation is I am free. So by doing the suggestion of this card, taking the advice, it can free you up to better things. Then if we take a look at another deck arrangement, because that was my weeklies. If I didn't say, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place with this one today. I had a lot of decks. I cannot lie. So we had this as the final. We had this one, card 1. So I'm going to pull you out a bit for this one. So this is Jilly at Little Zen Crone. So card 1 is card of the month. All right, so we have 4 of these. So if we just perhaps shuffle them a bit. So 4 cards go down. So card 1 is card of the month. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. Card 2 is the Positive Influences, which we have 10 of discs. Card 3 is the Challenges, Page of Wands. Card 4 is Focus on This, Ace of Swords. And card 5 is Let Go of This. And we have Queen of Wands. Then we have the 3 oracles. So the first oracle is Journey of Lonely Souls. I can't remember why I chose to pull 3 different decks, but I did. So we're using this one for this card. And card 6 is Messages from Spirit from an oracle deck. So the Messages from Spirit from an oracle deck. We'll have Stirrings of a Welcome Wind there. And those are the backs. Then we have the Oracle of the Rose, this one, this gorgeous one. This one doesn't come with a guidebook. I believe version 1 did, version 2 doesn't. But I think the cardstock's better on version 2. So, horses for courses, I guess. I don't even recall there being a downloadable PDF for this. So, interesting. So this is going to be Message from Spirit. We have Journey. And those are the backs on those. And then we have the Earth Angels Oracle for the last card, which is the little cards. And this is the mantra. That's why I chose these ones, because I wanted the mantra to keep in mind. We're going to have Free Spirit for the mind. Did I just have that card, or is that very similar to what I've just had? It sounds similar, doesn't it? So let's take a look at this spread, shall we? So, card of the month. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So we'll just go off the keywords, shall we, that I've written on here. So we have headway, creation, paths, cycles, karma, flow for the month that we've just had. I suppose actually we could do this for the month coming, couldn't we? We could do this the same way for August. So we can look for the flow of things. Things are just going to naturally progress. So we can't, stop things. We're not going to be able to halt things. So there's going to be a natural progression, whether we want it to or not. And it's how you then choose to go with your natural progression. Fighting is always exhausting. Positive influence. We have the 10 of discs. So the positive influence for the month. So I have here self-sufficiency, things that you've achieved, pinnacles, and wealth. Of course, it's also wealth, meaning for me, materialistic wealth, as in family, health, friends, anything tangible that you can touch is what I mean by that. It doesn't necessarily just mean bank account. So what do I have that brings me wealth in my life? The enjoyment around me, food, touch, taste, sense, all those things with this. And, what have we achieved with the cycle that's moving forward? The achievements that are coming. It looks like it's going to be a good one. So whatever it is that you're planning to achieve is going to be achieved through the movement that's coming. So The challenge that's causing the negative feeling, however, is that Page of Wands. Experimental, open-minded, foolhardy, free-spirited explorers. Negative feeling. So I suppose the experimental side of it could cause that negative. I don't know quite what I'm doing, not really sure what we're doing. You know, do I want to touch out there which is beyond my comfort zone? Or are we still reaching backwards and not reaching forwards? Are we still looking in the wrong direction? So that one maybe need a little bit more probing. Then we have 4, focus on this, Ace of Swords. Well, Ace always brings new thoughts, new learnings, new ideas, new communications, doesn't it? So focus on what's being said, what's going on. Now, I don't know what all these symbols are because I've not actually explored this card yet. And I haven't fully explored this one actually. So it's interesting. The first 3 ones I've explored, and then I've got 2 that I haven't explored. So I don't have much to go on with these. But those were my first thoughts with the Ace of Swords. So focusing on how I'm communicating with things and what I'm learning, what I'm taking in, what I'm seeing, what I'm, hearing, what I'm thinking. The awareness of thought as well with the Ace of Swords. Card 5, let go of this. So we have the Queen of Wands. And what's she got going on there, really? I mean, it's unusual, isn't it? So we have this kind of eagle character in the card, and we have the sun with the stars around it in the background. But to let go of, so letting go of I'm literally stumped because we are live and I haven't got time to think about it. So I'm going to pull the book out. Let me just find the wands because it's not in order. Oh, Page of Wands. Here she is. So you can see there's a lot of writing for the Queen of Wands. So it just simply gives her as an Aries card. Natural leader, accomplishment, orientated, type whose gift is to create teams and assign tasks. So perhaps I'm going to let go of assigning tasks and trying to create teams for things, trying to, wield people from a leadership perspective, I guess. So stop trying to get people to, all move in one direction. Just allow people to be what they want to be for the month, because it's going to be a hot-headed month. I have the feeling. I've already witnessed a few hot-headed explosions around the workplace that I don't want to be, getting my toes burnt with. So I have a feeling that it's going to be that, rather than trying to corral and rally people. It's going to be about allowing people to feel what they need to feel with a balanced kind of head. The Queen of Wands copes with intensity in her role by never looking back but advancing forwards. So if we were going to talk about the Page of Wands there, with the challenge that's causing negative feeling, and he's very definitely looking back. So if we were going to talk to her about letting go of this, or letting go of looking back, that need to look back, that would make a lot of sense actually. If the Queen of Wands feels like she's losing her grip on the direction events are moving, somebody is going to be punished. Ooh. This will happen right in public, so the whole realm understands the consequence of displeasing the Queen. Well, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. So I'll let go of that immediately. I'm not doing that. Better to stay out of her line of sight if you can't make an excellent presentation the instant you are called to account. Wow. Okay. It's nothing personal. You must understand she simply can't see a practical reason to support the weaklings or the off types. Oh my word. Should we just say this Queen of Swords has no patience? I always kind of associate this Queen of Wands. I always usually associate her with, somebody who's kind of spiritual, open-minded, giving, nurturing, taking others on journeys with her, kind of telling them how to get there, how to be more free-spirited, how to journey within their practice and outside of their home, and apparently not. So that's where we are with these. So card number 6, we're down here now. So we have the Stirrings of a Welcome Wind. And this is messages from spirit, basically. That's it. Messages from spirit. Just read it as it comes. What's your messages from spirit? So we have break free and let the winds of change fill your soul sails. What is keeping me stuck? So what's keeping you stuck? What is it that's keeping you stuck in this place? How can you get out of that comfort zone through the stirrings of the welcome wind? So that is the message from spirit. So with regards to, like, you know, letting things go and leaving things in the past and challenges, how can you come out of that comfort zone? So when you're stuck in your comfort zone, because this is a very comfortable place to be, I have to say, it looks like, how can you come out of these comfort zones and push yourself forwards? Then we have the leap of, I had leap of faith last time. Then we have journey, which is card 47. So that's interesting, that leads straight on from that question, you know, how can I get out of my comfort zone? How can I fill my sails to move forwards? And then the affirmation here, we have free spirit. So it's actually a really beautiful message in general. I move forwards with confidence. Confidence, going back to the Queen of Wands. Doors will open for you now with goals in sight. Don't let anything hold you back. Fears and uncertainties will subside and give you simplicity. And you will move forward with your confidence to reach every goal. Wishes will be granted. So I think actually that's a really nice kind of spread. And I know visually these cards don't look, you know, 100% spot on, but they work together in a message, definitely. And that was what I found with this Oracle of the Rose. It sort of linked cards together, although I think that the Earth Angels would probably link quite easily with that, but I just like that extra layer that it brings into the reading. And yeah, I'll probably continue to use this one amongst 2 other oracles in the instances when I use it, if that makes sense. So there's Gilly's spread. I hope I will remember, give me a chance to link it down below, and then you can go over and watch her live that she did for that. So that's that one. I think that's the only time I used that deck. Then we have the, I don't show this one usually, but I thought it's just, you know, we're halfway through the year, so I ought to. So the Wildwood Tarot, and as I said, this is the one that I use for my Ogham spreads that are being done by Richie at Longmans Tarot. And these are just really nice. Oh, deck upside down by any chance? These are just really nice cards that are really sort of natural, nature-filled, nature-inspired. The meanings on them are slightly different to what you might be used to seeing. And he often does his spreads kind of in the shape of runes and things. So that's usually how we would see this, or how I would normally see this deck presenting to me. So beautiful cardstock. And yeah, I just thought it'd be time to show some of the cards to acknowledge this deck. And again, because some of the words are slightly different, so justice is the great bear, protecting the cave. I would, you know, dip in and out of the book to see what's going on, and some of the meanings are a little bit different. So 5 of stones, endurance. Stones would be earth, so it's nice to have different meanings. And all the court cards are animals. So page of bows, which would be wands, is a stoat. So I definitely need to look up the stoat and what he means. Page of stones or earth is a lynx. The ancestor would be the Hierophant. So 7 of stones is healing. So we have keywords on them as well. The Knight of Earth is a horse. Now we have 6 of wands. The word is abundance. 4 of vessels, boredom. So yeah, I do try to use those keywords when I'm using this deck. And again, that just makes the book invaluable while I'm working with this deck. But it is a lovely quality deck, this one. And the borders again, so I'm about taking them off, but I'll probably use them. And I'll definitely be using my laundry pen to write on this deck if I get round to it. And it comes in that 2-part box that everyone loves to hate. So that's that deck. Next on my little journey here, we have the 78 Doors Tarot and the Witch's Oracle. So, I mean, I've shown you the 78 Doors. I don't think I need to pull it back out, but we can certainly have a look at the Witch's Oracle. One that many of you know I love dearly. I've trimmed, I've edged, I've rewritten the guidebook to something that I can carry around with it. And 3 cards came out for this one. This is a very witchy-inspired, practice-based deck. So if you're not familiar with things like the horned god, serpents, spiders, patterns, power, life force, familiars, bells, it might not be for you. You might not fully grasp, where it's going. But that being said, it's a great one to play with. So we have, Gaia for healing, Pentacle for evocations, Raven, keeper of secrets, the Goddess for transcendence, so crystal ball. And then there are some sort of Thoth-esque inspired elements in it for me, with the colours and the way it's worked. Owlis or wisdom keeper, mirror for perception, spirals for attraction. So yeah, those of you out there who have a kind of spiritual practice, I think this one works for most of us that like to do scrying, divination, releasing parts to our practice. What else do we have? Tarot de Luz and the Abandoned Oracle for the 3 of Cups spread for Amethyst Ascension. I think she's done a video on this and then she shared the spread in the Facebook group. I believe I watched the video. I can't remember what deck she used. But obviously I chose to use this one. Fournier decks are smaller than standard decks, which I love. Have I got the right decks out? No, I haven't. This one. And this one. So this one's from deviantmoon.com at Fenwood Asylum. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the Oracle deck. Okay, so we have 5 cards and then an Oracle. So let's just see how this one looks on the table. So let's just say position 1 is, how are you honouring positive developments in your life? Position 2, how strong is your sense of sisterhood? We have the Sun. Position 3, how best do you feel supported by your circle of friends? 2 of Cups. Position 4, how best can you support your friends? We have 10 of Pentacles. And position 5 is, what do you value most about your friendship and community? We have the Magician. So creation. And then final words from the Oracle deck. I chose a beast of an Oracle deck to give me final words. It's given me 2 cards. The Shadow and Disembodiment. All right, let's have a go at breaking this down. I hope you're all not too bored. It's another long one, despite having very few pages to talk about. So how are we honouring positive developments in our life with the 5 of Cups? Emotionally, obviously 5 because we need to move forwards. So taking that moving forwards with the Cups emotion. So yeah, we're emotionally growing stronger. We're improving on how we are presenting ourselves emotionally in the world, because it's been quite a trek, hasn't it, these last 3 years. So it's nice to know that we're growing and we're redeveloping, we're redefining what's going on, and how we want to present ourselves and how we want to be seen, how we want to be respected by others, I suppose, as well, with the 5 of Cups there. Knowing when to walk away from situations, knowing when relationships aren't right and it's time to move on, find your new tribe. So there's that there. How strong is your sense of sisterhood? So we have the Sun. So I'd like to think that means it's pretty good, but then define sisterhood. So I'm realistic, okay? I'm going to challenge. I'm realistic. I will challenge people, and I will challenge their own perceptions as well as my own. And I like to be challenged sometimes. And I don't mean challenged in a shouty, argumentative way. I mean challenged in a really nice conversation where two people exchange their thoughts and feelings about stuff, and their reasons behind stuff, their rationale, and maybe from there it might change your perception, it might not. And you know what, at that point, that's okay. I'm not going to be, we're going to have to agree to disagree. It's going to be, that's great for you, I'm glad that's working. I can't see how that's going to work for me, but we'll take it on board type scenario. How best do you feel supported by your circle of friends? We have 2 of Cups. So I'm going to say instantly, for me, what that means is my emotional support is my partner. And that is who I rely on for my support for most things. So with it being a 2 of Cups scenario, that makes sense to me. My friends are there for other support, but he is my support. He's my daily emotional, physical, mental, like my everything, my best friend. So 2 of Cups situation there is good when it comes to this, because when I'm talking about friends, I'm not just talking about girlfriends, to be fair. I'm talking about I have friends everywhere. So my circle of friends, I have my immediate family, my very, very close, tight circle, and then I have my broader circle of friends, which includes people on social media, people around the world that I've met through social media that I may never meet in person, but I get to converse with, chat to, see and chat to on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, all these amazing things. So yeah, 10 of Pentacles. How best can you support your friends? That doesn't mean giving them more money. That means just in growth in me and what I have, my experience, my skill set, my knowledge, my ability to be the friend that perhaps they need in that moment in time. That's how I'm going to see my 10 of Pentacles here. Just through being caring, the heart, giving them heart space, giving them empathy, a safe space to be, to unravel, to share what they need to share. That is sort of me, and I think many of us in this field probably would empathise with the word fixer or recognise the word fixer. I'm not a fixer anymore. I used to be, and I used to take it really personally if I couldn't fix somebody. I now know that I don't need to do that. All I need to do is just be and help and share and give advice, and hopefully that's enough in some situations. But in other situations, yes, I am a shelter for people. So, but I never give more than I have anymore. I don't overextend myself, which I used to do a lot. And what do I value most about friendship and community? And we have the Magician. There I'd say, the ability to create, to be, to make new friends, to create realities, to create diversities, to create fun places, spaces, safe spaces, for all the things that I enjoy. The fact that I get to, again, back to social media, I get to be in many groups, many places, dealing with different topics, situations, conversations, and it's just really nice for me as an air sign. I really enjoy that, the scientific versus the free spirit elements of everything. So I do enjoy that. Final words of wisdom from the Oracle. So we have the Shadow and Disembodiment. Now, I know many people don't like these images. I'm just pausing, trying to find the right words for what I want to say. I find them semi-amusing. So although this looks scary, she is kind of smiling. There is like a little element of cheekiness to the card. And to me, the same with this. I don't see this as harm as it looks. So what I'm reading into these 2 cards for my final words of wisdom from the Oracle is freeing yourself from what you think you should be, your past, what you think you should be, what you think you aren't, where your failings are. So that disembodiment feeling, cutting yourself loose from that and being who you are now. So being that magician, moving into the sun and having all that natural growth. Yeah, that's what I get. And of course, as always, you may get other things as well. And this reading It's not the one that I did for myself, it's one that I've done right here live with you guys. And again, you can take that one for yourselves as well if you want to, if any of that resonates for you. But I think it's really nice. It was a fun spread to do. I used the word fun a lot, but it was a really, it was a nice spread to do. And the theme that I've kind of seen this month and last month is wanting to use more decks for stuff. So when somebody's specifically done a spread and then they say like use a couple of decks for this, I'm there. Because I'm like, oh yes. And then I have that little dilemma because it's going to be more decks than the ones I pulled out. But yeah, hey ho. For my next week ahead, I use the deck that fell on the floor, I think. So just give me one moment while I go pick it up. Okay, so we used the first edition Zammer Twins Oracle. These are the backs. Bring you down a bit. These cards are so good, so good. I have rounded mine because I was bashing the corners to pieces. I don't know why. I can't deal with unrounded cards. It's crazy. So yeah, so this is the deck that I used and threw in a couple of times. It looks amazing with this deck. I also have another deck that it looks really good with. Which arrived this month as well, and it is one that's been on my wait list for a while. So if I do this maybe. Can you guess what it is? It's a limited edition art deck. Just like this one. So this one, version 1 has sold out. I am told there is a typo on the box somewhere, which I genuinely did not spot. So somewhere on here, probably in there, is a typo, and that has been rectified on the second print run, so version 2. And version 2 will be in a different coloured box. It will come with a printed guide. And, oh, it might be that. So it's got the 555 on the bottom, but I thought I saw this advertised as a 222 or something on the website. That might be the typo. So yeah, so the next version will come in a blue box with a printed guide with whatever the typo is corrected. But the other deck that I had to go with this is this one. So it is the Serpent and Peacock Art Edition. And really enjoying having it. So they do go, these go together beautifully and these go together beautifully, but I think these two are far more matched as a deck and just as a visual kind of spread layout aspect for looking at. I had some great pairings with these in my flip through, just like as random cards. So yeah, so because my guidebook for this, I haven't printed it because I have no ink in my printer, which is the story of my life. I have to go online, and this is the Z card, which I believe is only available with this edition that I own. So the fact there's a misprint on the box and this makes it even more special, although I've rounded the corners. So if I'd known that, I might not have done that, and I might have bought the second edition and done it to that one. But anyway, what's the point in having these beautiful items if we don't play with them? So the Zammer Twins Oracle came in, and it's been out a little bit, not much yet, but evidently I couldn't wait to get it into rotation too. So I threw it into one of my weekly spreads. Okay, that rounds up my decks for the month. I do have a few things that I've purchased and that came in, and things that were on back order already purchased that arrived. So I don't want you to think that loads of stuff arrived and I've been out spending. So the first thing being the Serpent and Peacock, which anyone who's been following it on Kickstarter will know that it's been on pre-order, back order, you know, whatever. Purchased a long time ago. So I got the deck and the art book explanation that goes with it. And Carol Ann has put a rumour out that there's a third deck coming. So if you missed this one, there's a third deck coming. I don't know what it's going to be, but she's doing little polls of the multiple cards that arrived in here. So say the Magician, which had a couple of cards. She's doing a poll in the Facebook group for Serpent and Peacock Art Deck to see which ones were preferred. And I think, I could be wrong, but she may be considering using some of those as the cards that will go into the third deck. So watch that space for people who are interested. And I believe the first edition is still available through her website as well, which is at libramoon.com. No, www.serpentandthepeacock.com. Try that. Giselle Madwitch made me do it. Fantastical Creatures Tarot. She didn't really make me do it, but she definitely inspired me to do it. This one is by Lisa Hunt and DJ Conway, and it's a US Games deck. She did like a kind of mystical, fantastical creatures sort of talk. It's got a really nice guidebook, and in the guidebook it has magical uses for each card, which I quite liked. It also comes with 2 cards with keywords if you want them. So if you don't want to carry the book around with you. I don't think I've done a walkthrough of this. I haven't used it. I've just used it to look through the images. But look at this, the Magician, High Priestess. So if you have the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot deck, you'll recognise the artwork, art style here. The Lovers, look at that Chariot, Strength. So this is a really, really nice deck. It feels very magical. Kind of tapping into, I don't know, maybe even the shamanic realms of self. I'm going to be honest, if I had noticed that was a great big spider there and then lots of eyeballs looking at me, I probably might not have got this deck, but I can just about manage that one. So, Star, the Moon, look at that for the Moon. Isn't that fantastical? With the unicorn just shining bright, illuminating the path ahead. Sun, kind of Aslan aspect to it. Judgment with the 2 dragons here on the world. So yeah, and then it goes through quartz and finishes on an ace, which is really unusual. So yes, so if I remember again, I'll try and link Giselle's video where this one was shown down below. So that was Madwitch on YouTube. Mel at Woolly Hermit. So please do go over and see what Mel at Woolly Hermit if you haven't heard of her. She is doing, or was doing, like a study of the Handled Tarot. Again, another one that's been on my list. And then watching what she was doing, I chose to buy this and just drop it into my shelf now. So I've got it before I spend my money on something else. And she's using the books. So I bought the books as well, and you can see they are different sizes. So the Major Arcana is smaller than the book that comes with the Minor Arcana, rather annoyingly, for a shelf, but at least you can tell instantly which is which, despite the colour. And there is very definite size difference on these. And this is Rachel Pollock, as you can see quite clearly. So she gives her knowledge in the books about the cards. There's nothing really different between them as to why they are. I'm not even sure the text is the same size, same text. So it's yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there was just to fit everything into a book that didn't feel too thick. It had to be slightly bigger. But yeah, so those are the books. This is the deck. Again, I haven't worked with it, but I have looked at the images. It sort of reminds me of the Tarot of the Spirit, which is another amazing one. So these are the backs to this. So many of you are going to recognise the backs. It is a US Games. For some reason I thought this was Low Scarabeo, so I had it on my Low Scarabeo deck wish list. We have 2 blank cards in the deck. And then this is the So again, it's a very mystical feeling deck We have symbols. It's packed with symbols, actually. We don't just have symbols, we have lots of symbols, lots of key sort of imagery to tap into. And she has strength as 8. So let's just go through. So it changes slightly. So let me put the A on for 20, Judgment, Universe. So Ace of Wands. And then when we get to the 2 to 5, is it over each? 6, 9, sorry, 10. Yeah, so 2 to 10, we have like the I Ching symbol. We have keywords on them as well. So 3 being virtue for the 3 of Wands, and there's our other symbols, which I thought was really interesting. Remind you of anyone else's deck? Not that, you know, it's completely different images and very different stuff, but it sort of reminded me a little bit of the Spirit Keepers, with all the things and esoteric natures that's been hidden into that deck as well. So yeah, another terrific deck. Yeah, and as I say, I don't know much about it. Should I say that? So obviously stones is earth, and we have Krishna is the son of wands in the east, with and that's the prince of wands. Daughter of wands in the east is princess of wands. Father of wands in the east is king of wands. Mother of wands in the east is queen of wands. So that gives you a very definite wands being east. Cups are north. Yeah, swords are south. And stones are west. So that is the Handle Tarot, as I'm pronouncing it. Whether that's right or not, I'm not sure. So yeah, thank you, Mel, for helping me push that one along. A couple of other things that arrived. Excuse me, clicking my tongue. The Energy Archeology Oracle. People in England, go to the London Wootique, or the Wootique London, and you'll be able to buy this and have it posted, and it'll be with you within like 3 days. It comes with a guidebook. So this and this came together, I think it's like £55. I have made a journal to go with this. One of my nieces left a piece of paper lying around, so I decided to use it. So Ashley Stinson on Instagram is doing this. So I'm calling it the Lunar Challenge, Holly Moon. So she's calling it Embodying the Holly Moon Lunar Cycle. I'm calling it the Lunar Challenge for the Holly Moon. And she's done 30 prompts to explore stability. So we're specifically exploring the word stability using this deck. And this is literally chicken scratch in here. And it won't be turned into anything more fancy other than what I've got on Instagram. So on Instagram, my cards so far have sort of linked themselves to songs and lyrics and titles. So just going through, answering her questions, you know, posting my card, and then what's going on. So that just goes through. I haven't tied this together or bound it together or anything, but I've just left a couple of pages at the back where I can explore some of the spreads that are in this deck. And the deck is gorgeous again. Yes, I have done a walkthrough of this one, but the bones to the body link to, so it says here we are looking at the floating ribs, and the floating ribs of the body also embrace the word catalyst. And then in the book it'll tell you about catalyst, it'll tell you what element we're talking about, and it'll tell you a bit more about the floating ribs on the body, what they attach to and what other bones around them might be linked to them. And talking of attached, we have attachment, the atlas vertebrae. So it's been fascinating so far doing this. Some of my cards have linked to each other beautifully. Belonging is one that I had today. And it's just been quite fascinating as to how they've worked. And I've had vulnerability. So it's, yeah, really nice deck, nice quality. It's gilded. I think it's like 45 cards or something. 35 cards, 45 cards. Cannot remember, But in the book, you have a coloured image as well. It gives you an affirmation, and it also gives you journaling prompts, which I've been enjoying using. So that one. And the Handmade Grimoire arrived. This is by Laura Derbyshire, and now I'm going to completely forget what her IG account and YouTube is called. Genuinely can't remember. Bower Hair. For those that suddenly start remembering or noticing or recognising what's going on. So this is just a book about how you make a book. In case you're wondering. So how to start, how to pick your book, how to curate what you want to put in it, how to select your papers, how to keep you on track of what you're putting in it, how to not feel pressured about what you're putting in it. And I have copied some of the bits of imagery ready to use in my own journals here. So I have some copies of images here. She gives you ideas to go inside your book, how to fold and make beautiful envelopes with your bits of paper that you might have, how to put little tags onto things, just extra bits of ephemera to make your page look pretty if you're into beautiful aesthetic and ephemera. So this is what this is about, making tags to go into your books, doing the wheel of the year and how you might create a wheel spinner, creating sigils, motivation, your magpie, so having the stuff to create your magpie. And then not right at the back, but the second half of the book, so about halfway into the book, she tells you to make use of the papers. And then the final half of the book is basically beautiful double-sided bits of paper that you might find in the Bower Hair's journal. I mean, look at that one. Gorgeous. We've got borders and things. So you can see. And the idea is you take these out of the book and you use them. Unless you're me. If you're me, you're going to take a picture of it and you're going to try and print it like these ones so that you don't damage the book, because I'm crazy like that. But the idea is you take these out of the book and the book gets used, and then her wish is that the book doesn't just live on a shelf. And this is from David and Charles Publications. So they've got lots of other amazing books as well if you wanted to pop across there. They've got ones on tarot spreads. They've got the Witch's Yearbook. Molly Art Magic, her books from these people as well. So it's a really nice book. So I'm just covering up my password there that I've got in the back for logging into their website. So so once you've used your papers in the back, the idea is that you'll come back here as well and you'll also cut stuff out. So, you might actually cut this out and then stick your own message over the top of that and pop that into your journal. You might even use these to make yourself little envelopes for your ephemera. The borders around the sides of the pages you might choose to cut out. And again here, so you could take that and then put your own little message on the top. More pretty images that you could stick onto your page. So that's the intention, as I say, for this book, so that basically you'd reuse all of it, and it's then had a good life in her eyes. Right. No idea that was going to be a long one. I do apologise. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've enjoyed this. And for those of you who've kind of sat in and listened to the spreads, I would be interested. Are you going to try any of them? Or do you get anything out of me showing the spreads, talking about the cards I get? Because, it's something I could very easily cut out. I'm not quite sure how I've ended up doing that and using it as part of my discussion, but it's a natural involvement, I suppose. So it's just nice to know if there's any benefit to it for you, or if you just want to see the journal and you want me to be quiet. Equally, I suppose you can stop there and then I can carry on for those that want to know. And the pen I'm using is the acrylic one. Can't remember what it's called. It's on Amazon. I think it was a Majon, Majohn. Acrylic with the nice. And this whole thing is full of ink. So you unscrew here, you fill with ink and put it back on. But it writes nicely. It's a medium nib, I think, this one. So I quite enjoy that one. That's got, I can't remember. It's a blue-black ink from a fancy brand. Can't remember the name. If I remember, I'll link it in comments. If I don't, I'm sorry. And anything I've missed that I haven't put down there, just ask me for, and I will try and get it out for you. Right, thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.